welcome to Start Science Scratch module. Today we're going to just be covering the basics of Scratch, what it is, what you can do with it, and it's going to be fun. So, my name is Ian. I am a student at the University of Toronto, and I'm studying computer science, which is a really broad and exciting field, in my opinion. And I've loved to work and play with computers for a long time, and perhaps you will too. So, what's on our agenda today? First, we're going to talk about, well, what is Scratch? What is this thing that we call Scratch? And number two is, what can I do with Scratch? You know, like, what's the point if you can't do anything cool with it, right? Number three is, how do I make a project? We'll see about that. Number four is, how do I use blocks? And blocks are really the core components of Scratch, as we'll see, and they're what make it special. And then number five, our activity portion is we're going to try making a simple game. And I hope you guys have fun with that. So, here's just a little example of something you can do, something fun with Scratch. So number one, what is Scratch? So what do you guys think? Do computers understand English? I'd argue not really. Now you may have used something like Siri on like an iPhone, or Alexa on a little Amazon Echo or something like that, or Google Assistant. And they all seem to understand you, right? No, computers, they don't really understand English. They just look for patterns in English so they can translate it into sort of a form that they can understand. Because computers are really just machines, right? They don't think like us. They just crunch numbers in the end. So Scratch is a kind of language, just like English, but it's a programming language. And programming languages are languages that computers can understand very well. Now, programming languages are very specific. If I say something in English, like, I saw the man with the binoculars, well, did I see the man who had the binoculars? Or did I see the man using binoculars? Right? We have no idea. But programming languages are intentionally very precise. It's just a unique way of thinking. And when you write in a programming language, you don't write like a book or something. You write programs, and they control our computers, laptops, tablets, phones, and more. So isn't that so cool? Like, everything your phone does, or your tablet does, whatever, is all controlled by programs. And we're going to write some programs today. So, number two is, what can I do with Scratch, right? Like, what's the point if we can't do something exciting? So, Scratch includes all kinds of tools for you to use. It includes art tools, tools for working with music and sound, motion tools, as we'll see very soon, and it also includes some powerful math and logic tools that makes it really quite powerful. We can do lots of things with it, in other words. Here's a quick example of something you can do with Scratch. So, as you can see, the mouse is moving around the screen, and the cat is chasing the mouse. Alright. So how do we make a project? So a project in Scratch is something that you create, and you can share it with your family and friends. Could be like a game or a video, whatever you like. So to get started on a computer, you're going to go to the website scratch.mit.edu. You should see something like this. Here's the Scratch homepage. Again, go to scratch.mit.edu in a web browser, like it could be Google Chrome, or Edge, or Safari, or Firefox, whatever you like, on a PC or Mac, so you can use your mouse to move blocks around, as we'll see. And then on the home page, after that, you're going to click Start Creating, and that'll drop you into the editor. It'll look like this. Alright, once you're there, I'll give it a minute to load, because I know it does take a few minutes, or a few seconds. Alright, are you guys all here? Great, so you should see a tutorial video pop up. And if you want to, you can pause my video and watch the tutorial, or you can just close it and allow me to guide you. Close button's right at the top right of that green window. Okay, awesome. So this is our main editor area, And the first thing to notice is that on the top right there, right, in this area, we have the stage. This entire area, the white part that the cat is in the middle of, it's the stage. That's where all our sprites will go. Now this cat is called a sprite, and it's basically just a blob of graphics that's on the screen, and in Scratch, sprites control pretty much everything that we do. This is a list of all sprites that we have, and we can add new ones. These are media tabs, so we have code, costumes, and sounds. Each sprite can contain code or scripts, costumes, and sounds. This is the scripts area. And this is all the blocks we have available to use in our scripts. And we can drag them out of there. So the next question is, well, how do I use blocks, right? How do we make something neat? So I'm going to switch out of here. All right. So the first step is we can drag blocks from the left into the scripts area. So these are all blocks, and I can drag a block and drop it right here, just like that. And I can also stack blocks by dragging them on top of each other. So say I have moved 10 steps here. I can drag another one, turn 15 degrees clockwise, and I can drag them on. I can snap them together just by putting them next to each other, like that. And I can snap a whole bunch more together. I can drag multiple of the same, and I can run a script by clicking it. So I'm going to click this. The cat will move 10 steps, and steps just means move forward in the direction that it's facing. So in this case, it's facing this way to the right. It's going to do these in order, so it's going to move forward. Then it's going to turn 15 degrees clockwise. Then it's going to turn 15 degrees counterclockwise, so it'll basically just undo that, and then it'll turn 15 degrees clockwise again. So the end result is our little cat guy moves 10 steps forward, then he turns back, and then he turns. So he's turned a little bit in the end. So that's a basic script. And we can also add hat blocks to the very top. So a lot of these are in events. And these hat blocks are special. They have a little hump on the top. We can only add them to the top of scripts, so we can't add them down here, but we can add it here, and it snaps together. And these are special because we no longer have to click this script to make it do something. Now we can just click the green flag, and he'll turn around. I'll just go quickly over types of blocks. So we have action blocks. These are these ones we've seen so far. We can snap them together, and they'll run in order. We also have value blocks. These blocks are sort of rounded, and you can find them in all the different categories here. Motion, looks, there's a size block, costume number, there's volume in the sound part. There are a whole bunch. And there are also yes or no blocks. So I'll just go quickly here, and for example, if I ask, is the cat touching the mouse pointer? This is going to give me a yes or no answer. So if I click this, false. No, the cat is not touching the mouse pointer. It's hard to demonstrate a yes with that one, but if we go to operators, say, this is a special block that will tell us if two numbers are equal, or two things. So if I say 1 equal to 1, what do you guys think the answer is? Is 1 equal to 1? Yeah. So if I click it, it gives me true. Versus if I say 1 equal to 2, is 1 equal to 2? No. So it's going to give me false or no. So these are yes or no blocks. And we can also add value blocks inside. So you guys can play around with these. I also want to briefly cover these before we go on to our activity. So these are special control blocks. So if we go to control here, so this diamond-shaped area is a place where we can put a yes or no block. So if we drag this yes or no block, or Boolean blocks sometimes they're called, if we drag it in here, what this will do is we can put blocks inside here. Let's just say move 10 steps. Now when we click the flag, let's get rid of those. Yeah, you can delete things by dragging them here. Now when I click the flag, it's going to ask this block here, is 1 equal to 2? And then it answers false. 1 is not equal to 2. So it's not going to run whatever's in here. But if the block answers true, or yes, like that, then it is going to run whatever is inside here. So if I click the green flag, it's running. But if I ask is 1 equal to 2, it's saying no, and it doesn't move 10 steps. It does nothing. We also have some other blocks, like repeat. This just repeats things a bunch of times. So let's take a new block. Let's change size by 10. This is going to make the sprite a bit bigger. So that makes it bigger over time. Adds a little nice animation. We can change it by -10. And it'll put it back down again. And we also have forever, which we will make use of in our activity portion. That just repeats things forever. And we also have repeat until. This also takes a yes or no block. But instead of if, it will repeat whatever's inside of it until this becomes yes. And we could have that happen by, for example, checking size is equal to 10. Is size 10? No, size is not 10. But if we keep changing size by -10, eventually size will become 10. And when it does become 10, this repeat until will stop running whatever code is inside. So if I click this, you see it shrunk to size 10, and then it found out that size was 10, and it stopped. Awesome. So this is our activity portion. I'm going to be right back. All right, welcome back to our activity portion. So we're going to get started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go File, New, and replace the contents just so we can start fresh. Okay, so we start with a basic sprite, cat sprite, and what we're going to be making is a little game where we're going to have the cat move around. We're going to control the cat, and we have to try to catch some things as they fall. Very simple, but that means it's easy to make, and it's also fun. So we're going to start with, we're going to go to motion here, and scroll down until we see set X. I'm going to drag that out. So if you are familiar with X and Y, then you know roughly what this means, but if not, X means left and right, so -X goes to the left, +X goes to the right, and +Y goes up, -Y goes down. So what we're going to do is set X to 0, that's going to put it in the center, put the cat in the center, and we can drag our cat down to the floor because we aren't changing Y in the script here. And now what we're going to do is grab a forever block. We're going to do this for the whole game. We're going to set X, and we're going to change the 0 to, we're going to go to sensing now, and grab this value block called mouse X, and we're just going to snap it in here. And so now the cat is going to move horizontally with my mouse cursor when I run this script. Cool. I'm going to add a hat block so that it runs when we hit green flag. Alright, so we have the cat and controls done. Now we have to make something that falls. So we're going to add a new sprite for that. And we can just go choose a sprite. And we'll let it load in. I think we can catch apples. You can choose another one if you like. There's bananas, balls, beetles. You can choose an apple though. And this is kind of a big apple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the size to more like 50. Hit enter. And that's our new size of the apple. Okay, so we're going to start a script for the apple. So we're going to drag out green flag, the hat block, and we're also going to repeat this. So we're going to go in control, forever, drag it out. Now, what do we want to repeat all the time? Well, I say we want to go to a random position horizontally, but always at the top. So how do we do that? Well, we can say go to X and Y, so this lets us go to a specific position on the stage. Makes the apple go to a specific position, that is. And we can go to operators and drag out a pick random. This pick random is just going to, it's a value block, so it's going to give us a value, but it's going to spit out a random number, 6, 2, 8, 7, whatever we want. So we want a random number between roughly over here and roughly over here. So we see that the sprite x is like 214 and negative 213. So we could make it say minus 210 to 210. Let's put that in the x. And the y right now is 160. That seems pretty good. So let's just make it 160. Okay. So now, when I hit green flag, you can see it's kind of just going crazy all over the place. Pretty weird. The reason it's doing that is we're just telling it to keep going to a random position forever. What we want instead is for it to fall until it reaches the ground. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, let's go into control and scroll down a bit and grab repeat until. Drop it in here, and we're going to put it inside the forever. Make sure it's in there, right below go to X and Y. So we need a yes or no block here. What are we going to check to determine when we should stop falling? Well, it just so happens that in sensing we have a block called touching, and there's touching mouse pointer, but there's also touching edge. So we'll make it touching edge. Right now it's not touching the edge, false, but if we make it touch the edge, it gives us true. So we can put that in there. And now we want to repeat something until it's touching the edge. Well, we want it to fall down. So we can scroll to in motion and grab a change Y. Remember, Y is vertical, so we can have it change Y by, and this number here, so we want it minus first of all, so it goes down. And this number here, the bigger we make it, the faster it's going to go, roughly. So we can try a number like 4. Let's just see how that looks. Yeah, that's pretty good. But it's a little slow. We want our game to be fun. So let's try minus 8. Yeah, that's pretty good. Gives you enough time to catch it, but not too much time. You can change that if you want, but I'm going to leave it like that. Now, finally, we also need a way to figure out how many apples we've caught, because right now, when we touch an apple, it doesn't do anything. So let's add another block, and we can say in control if. Let's put it inside the repeat after change Y. And we want to check if we're touching. We're going to get another touching, but this time we're going to check Sprite 1. We can actually rename these sprites, so I'll do that. I'm going to go to Sprite 1 here and change the name to cat. So if we're touching cat, then we want to change some kind of a score, right? Well, a score is kind of this thing that we can't really describe using motion or sprites, right? So it turns out the way we can do that is with a variable. So this is, I'm going to delete this my variable first. Variable can hold a number or some text like words, but we're going to use it to hold a number here. And we're going to call it score. You can leave this for all sprites, click OK. And now we see score at the top here is 0. So once this apple has determined that it's falling during this repeat until, and it's touching the cat, then we can change score by 1. Change will add or subtract from score. So we want to add 1 to score, and this will give us 1 point every time we catch the apple. Finally, what we'll want to do is we can grab another set y, and we're going to put it right under here. So once we've determined that the cat has caught the apple, we want to increase the score by 1, and let's set the apple to a place where it's just at the bottom of the screen, like minus 170 right here. So we're going to set y to minus 170, hit enter. Okay, so now what's the apple going to do? Forever, so it's going to repeat doing this over and over and over and over, as computers are good at. It's going to go to a random x, random horizontal, and a set y, which is somewhere up here, 160-ish. And it's going to repeat this until it's touching an edge. It's going to change y by minus 8, so it's going to move down a bit. And it's going to check if it's touching the cat. If it's not touching the cat, then we're just going to keep going. Move down again, move down again, move down again. Eventually, if we're touching the cat, then we're going to change score by 1, and we're going to move all the way down here. And now, this touching edge will return true. This repeat until will stop. We'll end this part, and then we'll go back up here, go to a new random position. So let's see it in action. Oh, got 1, we missed 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4. Awesome. I think it's working pretty well. Now, one thing to notice is if we click green flag again, our score doesn't reset. It stays the same. That's because variables don't get reset when we click stop. So to fix that, we can just add set score to 0 at the very top here, right when we click the green flag. And that'll set it to 0 and reset our score. If we miss apples, it just hits the edge and we don't get a point. But if we hit the apple, if we catch the apple, we do get a point. And finally, if you want to add some variation, let's go ahead and add a new costume to our apple. So you can just choose a costume if you want to. Let's go animals. And I don't know, perhaps a dog. What cool dogs we got? Hey, this is a cool dog. Yeah. Alright, let's catch alien dogs. Or astronaut dogs. So now, just like that, we're now catching astronaut dogs. Actually, it's a little bigger, so let's move this down a bit. 140. The costume's a little bigger. There we go. And if we go in the Looks tab, you'll see this next costume block. We can drag this out, and we could put it right at the bottom here, right before it goes to a new random position. So each time we're going to get a different thing that we're catching. Awesome. So I really hope you guys had fun making this game. Feel free to play with it all you want and change things. You could change how fast it falls. Like if you want to make it really hard, make it minus 20. Whoa, so fast. Or, yeah, you could play with how the cat works. You could change the cat to some kind of a basket or something. Whatever you guys want. I encourage you to play with it. If you want to save your project, then you'll have to make a Scratch account. Or you could save to your computer if you click this. But if you want to, you can make a Scratch account with your parents' permission, or a trusted adult can help you with that if you want to. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for coming on this ride with me, and I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you have fun going forward playing with Scratch. References. Bye bye.